the stage Chris Hassell, who's the local shorebird expert extraordinaire and does a mountain of work for advocacy and the conservation for this species. So let's welcome Chris to the stage.
Settle down. Okay, folks. This is sometimes the graveyard shift after you've all had your nice lunch and you're all a little bit somnambulant. I am passionate and serious about shorebird conservation, but that's for tomorrow. This is basically the after lunch entertainment. And lots of you are birders and you've been very polite listening to all that stuff about benthos. It was very polite of you. This is for the birders, okay? I hope you're all enjoying that slide. We're not doing that. We're doing that. One of the main things I hope here is that this isn't a crap talk. Now, I was going to talk about the different water treatment plant methods of dealing with sewage around the world, but I showed this slide to a friend and they poo-pooed the idea. Now, when I was putting this together, showing off about the Broome poo ponds, I thought, oh damn, we're going to have some Victorians here, and they might have Werribee as their local patch. And I hear it's wonderful. You can see grey teal. You can see grey teal at Werribee, which is pretty exciting. You can see black duck. Seriously, there's black duck down there, which is, again, that's just fantastic. Now, Broome, we get trees full of yellow wagtails. We get pin-tailed snipe having lunch metres away from you. We have barn swallows flitting merrily above your head. Now, I know some of you are like, hold on a minute, Chris. How do you know that was a pin-tailed snipe? Well, it stretched its tail out for us, didn't it? It's really quite obvious. Now we also get swinnow snipe. Oh, well, that's very good. Chris, would you like to explain to us how you know that's a swinnow snipe? Well, I wouldn't, because I've only got 15 minutes. I'm very sorry, we will have to move on. So this is the crux of it. How good is the Broome poo ponds? The best way to find out about how good something is to do an integrated Bayesian approach for multi-truth discovery. It's obvious, isn't it? Unfortunately, I can't do those, so I did some schoolboy arithmetic. I don't like reading slides, but Werribee, 287 species. Yes, I know it's 307. 17 of them introduced and 3 of them extinct, so we've taken those off. Broome has 200 species over 13 hectares. It's not difficult mathematics, even for me. I used a calculator, obviously. So Broome is 581 times 6.6137 times better than bird in Werribee. Thank you. You're being a very good audience. I appreciate that. Thank you. Now, it wasn't always easy at the Broome ponds. Not as good as it is now, which is where we're headed with how good it is now. You used to have to peer through the fence, so the views weren't the best. They weren't the best views. But we're birders, so anything could be over that fence. So we improvised. But any activity comes with inherent risk. In this particular instance, I was atop my car, birding merrily, and someone called grey falcon. Luckily, the injuries weren't life-threatening, and more importantly, I got to see the falcon and I ticked it. One's list is one's own. Don't you judge me. None of you judge me. Grant alluded to a slightly serious bit here. Grant alluded to we didn't allude to, Grant mentioned the Lingbeer blooms that have been happening in the bay, undoubtedly caused by the leakage from the sewage ponds, but those ponds have now been lined. They've all been lined and should be impenetrable. And when they were doing that work, they had an enormous amount of soil that they were moving around, and Paul Beard, who is the local manager of the Broome wastewater treatment plant, had seen these strange people standing on tops of their cars looking into the ponds. So he contacted the Broome Bird Observatory and said, "Would you like a bird hide?" Well, even Morris didn't say we had to have a committee meeting to decide on that. So it was reasonably straightforward, and he genuinely was fantastic. That facility is inside the boundary of the ponds. There is a fence here to stop us blithely wandering in and falling in the ponds while we're looking at a rare bird. But it is within the bounds. I mean, I never realised that government entities could ring up and say, "Hey, would you like a bird hide?" and do it. He was brilliant. He consulted with us throughout the process. He moved it 400 metres because they put it a little bit sort of away from where the main birds were. So we said, "Hey, can we move it down there?" "Yeah, no problem." So they moved it for us quite happily. So that was absolutely brilliant. These are plumed whistling ducks in here. When you're in the hide with your telescope, that's what they look like. So you get some beautiful views. 25,000 of them were there in June 2017. I was going to do the joke again about 27,000 over the 25,000 over the 13 hectares, but I wasn't sure it would work a second time. And we get a variety of beautiful water birds in there. I know those at the back can't see everything, I'm horrified to say, but there's a beautiful freckled duck down in the right-hand corner. But I will say we do get black ducks as well. And of course we get grey teal. Shorebirds, of course, a variety of shorebirds. The sewage ponds is adjacent to the bay. There's just a wide dune between them. So some of the shorebirds come in and roost in there. Some of them forage there all the time. Common sandpipers are there all the time. Marsh and greenshank are there all the time. We get some residents, black-fronted dotterel, golden plovers like it, and tattlers use it quite a lot as well. They're not necessarily the main species, but some of the main species that utilise the ponds. But of course, it's rare birds. Most of you are birders, and it's rare birds that you're interested in. This is Australia's first semi-palmated plover, found at the Broome sewerage ponds. So, the Bird Observatory, the local birders, and even the Water Corp themselves are really quite excited about this. The Water Corp were even confident enough to show us how to identify semi-palmated plover. So quite clearly this is one, and this is one. Although, of course, this is a ringed plover, but we didn't want to sort of rain on their parade. They were excited, so fair enough. And Julie, we made a little bit of a fuss about it. You need to get up to the hide. It really is fantastic. Get yourselves up there. There's some information. There's a little bit of information from the Water Corp how water treatment plants work, which I've never read. But so we made a bit of a fuss. The semi-palmated plover. It turned up in late 2009. It was here every non-breeding season, so it went away and bred. It came back every season, and then the facility was built 8 years later in June 2017. So that was fantastic. Hasn't been seen again since. So it's on the sign, there's pictures of it. We've got a semi-palmated plover, but we haven't anymore. Luckily, though, when Adrian, one of our friends and colleagues, works in the Arctic, and he was able to photograph one of the chicks of the adult that had been at Broome, and so we're hoping that in the future this bird will replace replace the parent, and once again we'll have a famous bird to show off about. And that is short and sweet. Thank you. Particularly, I'm not a bloke who spends much time praising government entities, I'll be truthful with you. But Paul Beard of the Water Corporation and the Water Corporation themselves, in this instance, were fantastic. There was some wonderful photographers, brilliant work, Kerry, just absolutely outstanding. And if the person who took that grey falcon picture is in the audience, thank you very much to you as well.
Thank you, Chris.